welcome along to some more anti-stall racing here in Japan, or Japan, however you want to pronounce that one. We got the F4 and the F3 series up for you this evening here. Race 11 here in Suzuka. I am the Biggles. Joining me in the casting box will be Brody and will be Niels. So, ole, that's it. I thought it was It's not. G'day, guys. Welcome.
No, it's a bit like in Japan.
Welcome indeed. Hello.
Thank you.
Yes. Let me make sure the levels are a little bit good for both of you guys. Mine's maxed. I need to crank it up a little bit more. Over there should be good-ish.
Is it good now, Bitties? Bitties?
Bitterly. So bitterly. All right, so we're underway for a practice session, guys. So coming to the end of that practice session, just to give you an indication of those times too that these gladiators are pulling out of the bag there for 30 minutes that they've done. And these are the what cars? Are these F4 cars? F3s?
Yeah, these are F4 ones.
F4s.
The F4, and then we'll have the
yeah.
F3 later when we've had
That's true.
both
So,
our F4 races, right?
This is a half a track, guys. Okay, so it's a smaller version of this. I'm showing you currently at the moment out there the full track map, but it is in fact half of it for the F4s. The F3s do get to go around this full circuit, but these guys won't. They don't get the luxury of that. The cars are too slow. Don't tell them that. All right, I'm just popping this out.
Where does it cut off compared to the normal? Are we?
Good question.
I'm looking at the track map, and it's a bit confusing to me. I see the hairpin.
So I think instead of taking the last chicane before coming down the right-hander towards
so
finish
we're
straight,
skipping the S's, yeah.
Yeah, it'll bear right there, and then it'll do a double right-hander back towards the section that goes under the bridge.
Yeah, of course, and then we'll have the start-finish straight on what I'll otherwise refer to as the back straight just before 130R, where, as some people might know, you can go into the pits at full speed and then pop out again if you're brave enough.
Yes, I got your message there. I'll try to give it to you as qualifying. Well, sorry, qualifying's about to start. Practice is over. If you guys like to read through those standings really quickly while we get underway for our lonely qualifying. Of course, they will not be lonely. Well, they'll be lonely on track, but we can see them all at once. If hopefully the stream is working for you out there, and hopefully the stream's not too choppy. Let us know in the chat if it is. 'Cause sometimes if I'm Discord sharing and broadcasting and all my screens and jazz, it starts to cause a little bit of an issue. So please let me know if it is.
Looking really good for me.
If it's looking good, that's great. That's fine then. We're all cooking with gas.
Good for me too.
Excellent. All right, so yeah, you guys can read through those standings too, because I've got to try to not have too much stuff open as we're on board currently at the moment. Get rid of that race info. So this is the problem. I'm trying to do too many things at once.
Would you like to do that, please?
All right, where do I pull up my driver information? Here he is. We're on board with Kevin as he's about to do his first flying lap.
I was looking at the standings here. Kevin's second, 10 points behind Sebastian. Only 10 points. Quite interesting, actually. But then we've got Jasper.
Oh, there's a spin from Kevin. It looks like he just locked up a little bit. I couldn't see the smoke coming out of tires for a lockup, but that's going to compromise his lap. He's going to have to go around and do it all again. Here's Mr. Mario in 11th. In fact, why is it not showing up the qualifying stuff at the moment? Because I need to show that. There it is. Oh, I get one job right. So, it looks like at the moment that we might have some times on the board. Maybe not. Leon. I don't know why they're setting some times up there. They're not. Let's go to Andy at the moment. Andy Talman. Tatman. He's currently set the purple sector, but it looks like he's been replaced by Kevin. You can see underneath there. So we'll keep an eye on him. It's going to be probably one of the first ones to set a time. You can see it's a purple sector because it's pretty much the first one. Nobody's set a time yet, believe it or not. I think we've got a few spins already. Go on board the cockpit, see how it feels. This car's up to 4th gear on the short Suzuka circuit. Bear with me, I have no idea where he is on the track. I'm used to the short track too much. Well, this looks like Spoon coming up now, if I'm not mistaken. Just of a guesstimate. Yeah, it's a big sweeping corner, and that's got to be Spoon because you climb your way back in the back straight here. up the hill in a bit, and then you'll approach the final S's. Actually, no, it looks like it's going to go across the line. Really? I really don't know this track that much. Help me out, guys.
It's no after Spoon, you're going up to the start-finish straight, or what is now going to be the start-finish straight. It's
this should be the final corners here, right? Sweeping to the left, and
everybody else.
And then you're right. This is completely different.
Yeah, it's a right, so you're completely cutting out the normal start-finish straight, and then the S's, and then you're going to return up right after the then the final long right-hander in the S's. I'm not sure what that's called.
S's?
S's.
Yeah,
S's. End of the S's. The S of the S's, the tail of the S's, perhaps, as you go through the hairpin, and then this is going to be our back straight, I guess, right before Spoon. So it's actually a pretty short track. It's 1 minute 15 is the provisional fastest lap from Sebastian.
Yeah, you see the time starting to come up there. At the
I don't
moment
think
there.
we're on board with now.
No, I'm still on board with Andy, who said his time. So who do we want to go on board with? Andy's still on his lap at the moment.
Let's see
and
what,
he's got a purple third, and well, that's his final sector, I think.
Kevin's across the line. Purple final sector there.
So he's done that one. I'm just trying to see who else is there to have a look at the moment. I can't read these names on the big screen. It's too far away.
Yeah, I was about to compliment Andy, taking away almost half a second from his lap time. He's now only just about 2/10 away from Sebastian's lap time, but then Kevin goes provisional fastest with a 15:07. But still plenty of time left of this qualifying session, so let's see if Sebastian is able to respond. We saw him last week being just shy of that pole position from Kevin, but still managed to get that first race, and then of course has some incident in the last race that allowed... who was it that won? Was it Ruben van Houten, I think? I'm not too sure, actually.
Yeah.
That's a bit...
It's very difficult for... One thing I really don't like, I'm still going to learn it, of course, is how to follow people properly.
You'll figure it out one day.
Oh, just to get the idea of the sector times and who's going where and what, it's just a little bit difficult for me than the regular F1, but I will get used to it. I'll have to start getting some shortcuts and things like that. Because I'm trying to read the names on my screen that's really far away, and I need to make it bigger. It's the overlays that I'm trying to read. Very difficult to see. Anyway. It needs to, we need to make that a bit bigger. All right. Gerald, we need to make that a bit bigger, please. Those names down the bottom. We're showing you the sector times and everything. Let's make it a bit bigger. I can do that, actually. How about Carlos Fernandez? This is the end of the qualifying coming up. Oh, wow. Look at that livery. Just as he's about to park the car and go back to the garage, I didn't even get to see it. Thor's the only one on track right now. Left in the qualifying in the one shot. I think he's just got a couple more corners to navigate and see what his time will be. 1:16.03 was his best. The 15:07 is what you need, so about a second slower than Pole at the moment.
Talking about liveries a bit, I'm therefore wondering here if this number 9 car we are seeing is actually a Formula W livery, or am I just confusing two things? Because those are purple, a bit green, and I believe they're white as well. But I think it's not opposite to what we're seeing right now. But there's certainly a lot more purple in those cars, aren't there? Even though I know that they have different liveries. I'm not too sure about this one. Just reminds me of it. But something else. You were talking about gas in the beginning. Electric cars for iRacing. What's your take on that?
Why not? I mean, iRacing is a racing simulator, so there is electric cars that race, obviously, Formula E. And you're a motor racing simulator, so you simulate all kinds of motor racing. Anywhere from Formula 1 down to go-karts even, if you have to. Trucks, if you want. I mean, big trucks, buses, things like that. Whatever. I mean, that's what they do. That's their speciality. That's why people, spend all the money on iRacing and your rigs, your setups. You get your butt kicker in there as well too if you got one. That thing certainly gives you a bit of a kick up the butt. That's like that's a thumper, remember? a low frequency thumper. So if you go, every time you go to the chicanes, you feel your teeth rattling.
Oh, the sausage curb hitting you every time you go through through the second corner.
Yeah, and if you crash, mate, it's like if you crash, it gives you a big thump. Like somebody just give you a little bit of a nudge in your back. That's it for our qualifying session.
Already, damn that flew past.
Well, it's a one shot, well, basically a lone shot for a couple of minutes for each person. So that is what the results will be. So Kevin, it's a Dutch duo at the start, my friend, the front row there. Kevin and Sebastian will lock it out. I'll give you guys a chance to read through that. Yeah, go through the grid if you can, please, on the stream.
Okay. So we have Kevin on pole position, Sebastian second. Those two fighting it out for the championship with these last 2 rounds to go. Andy Tapman is in 3rd place. Oyvind Breivik 4th. We have Brian in 5th. Thor Tuller in 6th. Leon in 7th. Mario 8th. Carlos 9th. Ruben 10th. And Baz Kessel in P11 rounding out the grid for today's 2 races at round 11.
All right. And we're going to get ready to go racing. And we are absolutely going racing off the bat automatically. Looks like maybe a bit of an overtake there from Brian, getting a position, of course, at the moment. Of course, it's 2 Kevin. Sorry, they're Kevin, the Dutch Army at the front there, the 2 orange cars there. Followed by Andy and Brian, that you can see at the moment has made 1 place there. Ollie is dropped a place there. Thor and Mario just at the background there going for it too for now. There's Leon as well. Oh, there's a spin. There's an accident. There's a collision between a couple of cars at least. We'll go back and have a look at that one in a second with the replay, but don't want to miss any of the action at the front yet so far. Thor's had a collision there back as well too, so that looks like Mario, Thor, and Ollie have come together. So far, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll have a quick look at that replay action while we have a bit of a second. That looks like it was a ton of people crashing together. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we go. From the chopper cam, and who was the... Did somebody go wide on the inside line there? Let's get back and see. Oh, look at that. Under the heavy braking. Did it catch everybody off guard? There's the tap. Just a tiny one. And, of course, there's 2 cars there that had nowhere to go. Back to the live entertainment.
It's just an unfortunate racing incident. I'd say just looking at it from now, perhaps a bit too enthusiastic from Thor. I think it was that hit someone else up at the back, but that's what happens when you go racing on a narrow track. As we have a spin 130 out. Oh, just get tangled up with the other guy. Who's that?
That's Carlos.
I think Carlos, yeah.
Was Carlos? Did Carlos have a spin? There's Carlos's nice delivery. It was Carlos, so we'll go back and have a look at the replay of that.
Yeah, no, I would have imagined that 130 out would gonna be an easy flat.
He's running by himself at the back here, so he must have spun or he's collided with somebody. Let's have a look. We'll have a look. You can see the bunch is still backed up there. This should be in there. Oh, that was the earlier accident. Okay, so it didn't actually.
A little punt with.
Yeah, that was earlier.
The guy in front, not too sure that.
Oh, this spin. We go back live. That's Carlos. Yeah. Anyway. Go back to the action a little bit further up there. Currently running in P5 at the moment is Leon. He's got Ruben behind him, looking pretty close. In fact, Ruben looks like lining up for a pass here, guys. What do you think? Where do you get the job done? Can he get the job done here?
Yeah, it's a slipstream and they're really close to each other. He's going to try and go for the outside move. We've seen it in Formula 1. We've seen it in Formula 2. Let's see if we can make it stick. Not quite, but he's still close enough. Oh, it's a spin from Leon.
I think.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's a spin from Leon. Unfortunate for the Dutchman as... No, that was Ruben, sorry. Ruben spinning and Leon going a bit wide in what's now turn 1. But he's still keeping the position, so... Would have loved to see some more battle between those 2 guys, because they seem like they're gonna have a nice little fight between them, but fortunately 130 out took another casualty. Looking up a bit further in the field, we have the 2 leaders. It's Kevin and Sebastian putting a bit of gap on Andy. Then are 2 seconds in front of Mr. Tadman. driving considerably faster, I'd say. It's Kevin doing a 15:10, so almost a qualifying lap last time around, and Andy doing a 16:02, so it's almost a second. But is that Andy trying to preserve his tires a little bit? We're still doing the 15-lap race for this first feature race here. I think that's still our
I believe
race
you might be
distance.
right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's timed. So 15 minutes
So
each.
it's 15 minutes, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes for F4, and I believe it's 20 minutes for F3.
I believe you are probably
Yes.
correct. If we're not, please check us in the chat there, and welcome if you are in the chat. Follow all the
I've done
buttons
many
there.
of these races, I should know.
Hit the little bell notification, guys, and also subscribe if you can. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe because it'll help the channel out. And hit the little bell notification too. If you get that, it'll notify you if you're too busy watching all the 10,000 things we watch on YouTube. It'll notify you and say, hey, guess what? Bit of anti-store racing on. So come over and join us.
That's seeing nothing else to spend your Tuesday evening on, is there? Than lovely F4 battle and
You
F3
could-
later on.
Yeah, well, you could actually
name anything.
you could actually go and watch the real F1 that occurred obviously on the weekend and have a bit of a snooze for about 50 minutes through that race because it was boring, like most of the F1 races are. Exciting at the start, exciting at the end, and boring in the middle. Guess what? You don't get that with esports, mate. Not at all. Esports always fun to watch.
There's always
Not the
something
short
going on.
sprint races. I actually argue that F1 is actually being a bit more entertaining with the new 2022 cars. It isn't as boring as it used to be the other.
Yeah, it is.
last couple
It is a
of
little
years.
bit more
It's
exciting,
getting
of
better,
course.
Yeah.
Oh, big oversteer
Oh,
moment. Did you
big
catch
step.
that one from Andy? Yep, he caught it.
Indeed.
Nice catch. As he's pushing at
Yeah,
the moment
lovely
because he's got the two
reactions.
targets up the road there. Two targets obviously being the Dutch duo of Sebastian and Kevin. That's who he's trying to catch. And you can look at the lap times right now. So that's Andy Tadman and Sebastian Vander up the road. So you can see he's actually shaving some time out of him. Look at that. Slowly starting to draw him in here. Unless it's the other way around.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it's the last other way around actually.
Yeah,
'cause,
you're mentioning the lap times.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
just a quick glance at the lap times that they were doing. I saw Sebastian doing a 1:14.98, I believe it was. Yeah, 98. So he's just about 10th faster than Kevin Stam, but it's still Andy. He's done a 15:82. That's his fastest lap during this race, but he's still 4.2 seconds behind Sebastian. That's then again 3/10 in front. So he's gonna hope for those two guys to battle it out and try and slow down each other if he's gonna have any chance of getting in the mix for the win of this first race.
Yeah, Brody,
Unless
what do you
he's,
think at the
pulling
moment?
a rabbit out
I'm
the back.
on board with Brian, and that's Brian currently running a P4. He's gained one position in this race so far, but look at that. He's catching Andy.
Yes,
And
indeed.
He's shaved a bit of time out of Andy's last lap down. Andy's got to be looking in his rearview mirrors
I
currently.
think he will be. I mean, obviously that oversteer moment will not be helping him whatsoever. It probably cooked his tyres a little bit, took a bit more life out of him. So Brian's probably got the upper hand going along this race, but there's still that other race after this that drivers may just want to wait for. Obviously, the top 8 get reversed. So as it stands, I believe Carlos would be on pole position for that. So that could shake things up quite nicely. But yeah, I believe Brian in the next couple of laps or so maybe will start to put even more pressure on and look for an overtake.
Yeah,
Actually, a bit of a
yeah.
gap between all of the drivers, right?
And it's bringing Ruben into play as well too. That's behind Ryan, as you can see, Brian. So perhaps Andy's, you can see maybe an overtake opportunity right now for Mr. Brian. He's really up the gearbox now, isn't he?
It really is.
He's had the lift off here because there's no way to really overtake. But look at the exit line he's going to take here, right there. So he's gone out wide and max in, power in, late in, and early out, fast in, fast out. That's what I was looking for. But even though he couldn't get the overtake done on Andy, and Andy took the completely different line. I think Andy took that blocking line, didn't he? He wanted to make sure that he had to say, okay, mate, if you're going to get past me, you got to go around the long, long way.
Indeed, he's definitely not going to make it easy for Brian. But sometimes you do have to get your elbows out, and God, he's getting so close. Very, very close.
Yeah, he's got to get something done too, because once again, Ruben's lurking just in the background. Ruben's starting to catch him too.
He is indeed.
So I think at the moment, this is going to turn into a little three-way party. Nothing that the top two need to worry about just yet, but Andy, as you can see, is sliding a little bit in the background.
Ruben has been 1.7 seconds behind the two guys in front of him the last time around. Now he's less than a second. He's actually at 0.7, so he's shaved up a second in that final lap. And I think that defending from Andy into turn one has helped him significant amount at least. And now they're going to be fighting even more into turn one. See Andy on the inside line again. Oh, it's a close one. He's having a look up on the inside, Brian, sorry. But things better.
Oh, he's got to think of the background too. Look at that. There's Ruben. We'll go on board of Ruben so we can see the action up ahead from his perspective. That's Ruben.
Yeah, so he's holding the dummy, right?
Number
he's,
7 car.
Showing Andy, hey,
wow.
I'm looking for that position as well.
You guys as drivers, Brody, what does it feel like if you're like basically the piggy in the middle here situation? You're trying to get a job done. You're trying to get an overtake then. You're also going to defend. How does it feel?
It's so much to develop in your brain, in the mind, because you want to make sure you're not giving the guy behind any opportunity whatsoever, but you still want to be trying to put the pressure on the guy in front. So it's kind of a 50-50 situation in a way. Big risk, big reward kind of thing. Ruben's almost there now. He's almost alongside. Goes front wing in there. He's using the slipstream of Andy. And the importance of this overtake for Ruben is actually quite high because he is 4th place in the standings and he's still mathematically within a shot of the driver's title, I believe.
And he's got the job done. He's got 2 now. As he's gone wide at the moment. That's Andy.
Oh no, he spun.
Oh, and he spun. He's collided.
Oh no.
Oh, after getting that overtaking done.
Oh, yeah.
And now he's gone back to the pit lane and that's it. Unfortunately. Oh, and that's Andy going off too. Andy must have damage from that incident.
Damage from that,
you can see he can't even turn the steering wheel at the moment unless he's he can't. He's trying. Look at it. The steering, you need a steering alignment, my friend.
Yeah, that will not go.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate. So that battle just is going to leave the 2 Dutch duo at the start. They're just kind of running away with this one at the moment. Just comfortably hanging there. Sipping on some sake here in Japan, perhaps, while they're listening to some classical Japanese music in the car. Maybe singing some karaoke. Haha, there you have it.
Bit of sushi instead of water going through the helmet.
Sushi is sake. Rice wine, my friend. Quite good. If you're of age, if you're of legal age, of course, I do recommend sipping some down when next time you have some Japanese food. Beautiful. In moderation, of course. Now, very difficult to tell the difference between the cars apart from the tyres, mate. One's got white rims and the other one has dark rims.
I think Thor's about to make an overtake from Carlos. Sorry, just
yeah.
change the topic.
Good call, good call, good catch. Thank you very much. I'm losing my voice. And did Thor get the overtake done? Not yet. That's Carlos up the road there. Carlos in that beautiful shiny livery, of course. I wonder if they would actually allow that in F1 in motor racing, because you get the sun on that could reflect into your eyes. That could be a good little strategy play. Put like almost like a mirror on the back of the car so that it just blinds the drivers. Ah.
It could indeed.
Good idea. Don't tell them. Well,
the only downside to that is the glossy paint is heavier than a matte finish paint.
That's true. You're right.
As you've seen a lot of the Formula 1
You know what I'd like to have? I don't know if you guys ever remember that paint. It's going to make a run here. Do you know that the paint, you had it on shirts and stuff where it reacts to heat? So it changes color to heat? There is a paint, get that. That would be quite cool, because you imagine the back of the car, how much it would start going red. It goes from like the lighter color, I think, to like a red. So it'd be blue where it's cold, and it'd be red where it's hot.
Yeah, cold storm colors.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool on a car? Yeah. Well, what if somebody's going to make it for iRacing? Higgs in classic overtake, I'd say. He's got to commit to this one right now on the inside.
Side by side, wow.
Which will turn to the other way at the moment. So, yes, it is. It's going to be side by side. We saw it happen before. Somebody get a little bit deep lock of brake and you're in trouble. And it looks like Carlos did go a little bit deep there.
Did very well to keep it Spot his braking point. Keep the car in control there. Not running deep.
Further up the field, we have another battle occurring. That's between the 77 car there of Leon, and Bass is just up the road. Running out of time too.
Leon is still recovering from the spin that he had earlier on 130R. He's got enough to take some positions back. He's currently actually +2 up from his starting position, and Bass is +7. So it's not a lot to lose for Bass, but of course you never want to lose a position as a driver, would you? But Leon now back start finish straight as it actually is 4/10. See, he's gonna be close enough, not for a move into 130R, but if he gets that one right, he might be able to get one into turn 1. We see multiple battles going into that one. He's on the outside. He's going to be able to get it around the outside. I don't think that is a possibility, but a bit of an undercut. No, goes a bit wide and he's onto the grass, fortunately, but both of the drivers managing to keep their nose pointed straight ahead. So we go for another round. Let's see. I don't think how many real overtaking opportunities do we have. Of course, of the hairpin that we're coming up to now, if you're a bit brave and if you're close enough, then there's turn 1 as well, and then 130R if you're really close out of spoon. But apart from those 3, I don't really think there's a lot of them. Is there?
Yep. Exactly right. Sorry, just getting a drink. Lots of motor racing.
Sorry.
Okay. Lots of motor racing to go, of course. Leon's going to see if he's going to try to do anything about Bass. That's just up the road there, as our leaders will be coming around soon, probably to finish the race. They have finished the race. My apologies. That's both the Dutch duo. Finished there 1-2, but we'll keep an eye on that. If Leon can do anything about it, he's giving it a shot, that's for sure. And was that a lift from Bass?
Yeah, the line
they've already crossed the line. Sorry, my apologies. I got excited about that one. Further down, well, these drivers still yet to finish. Carlos has, so that's it. That is it for our first race this evening. So there it is, the Kevstar. And the cameraman needs to be fired because it goes behind the thing. It's fine, there he is. There's the Kevstar.
Only 1/10 between Sebastian and Kevin, so a bit unfortunate that we missed that battle at the end. But a lot of other lovely battles around here that we like to see, right? So Kevin Stam in the P1, he's going to love that for the championship. Just getting a little bit closer to Sebastian, and then Sebastian P2 just keeping the damage at a minimum. Then it's Brian, and my standings is going out, so I can't see the rest. But I saw that the real winner was Bass. He's getting +7 from the start of this race, so I'm gonna love to see that one. And if we can just get half of that now, then he's gonna be able to get the win of this next race, as we have a reverse car grid. And if we're gonna go through that one, then it's Mario P1, Carlos P2, then it's Thor and Leon in P3 and 4. Then on the third row we have Bass Kiesel, followed by Brian Damhuis. Then of course our 1-2 from the last race, Sebastian van den Heuvel, lining up next to Kevin Stam. Then it's Andy Tatman finishing just outside of P8 in the last race, followed by Ruben Van Hoeding that's had a bit of an incident, and that is why he's all the way down here, although he has pace for more. And then to end it up, we have Øyvind Breivik that also had an incident at the beginning of the last race.
There we go. So again, green flag conditions for the second race around here. The feature race, of course. Sprint race is over, and now it's time to get your elbows out and get dirty and grubby all over again. Sweat it out. This time Carlos is going to be the man leading everybody into turn 1.
Incredible start from Carlos, and who is that on the outside of Mario? That must be Thor then. Mario's going to be gutted. He's lost 2 positions already as they go side by side. I think Mario is going to get... No, that is Thor getting the best out of that fight. And then, who's that making all of the positions already? Is that Sebastian? I think it is. Yeah, it is Sebastian. He's already up into P6, so actually only gained 1 position. Not as credible as I thought it was, but let's see who's that. We have a bit of a battle here. 2 people side by side. So that is Ruben and Andy. Let's see, it's...
yeah, further up as well, too. We got Bass, Sebastian, Mario. No Luigi, unfortunately, just Mario. Sorry, Mario, I'm just messing around, of course. It's all fun. It's battle at the moment, but you can see there between Sebastian and Bass. This is the first time, remember, that the Dutch drivers had to actually do some defending because they ran away previously with that. And now they had to start further back down, of course, because of the reverse grid. And his teammate, Kevin, is currently running down a P9, so it was a very good start there from Sebastian to make his way up into P4 from third or 3 positions gained, as you can see. But he's got a bit of defending to do from Bass.
Yeah, he's already had a fly-off start. He's 2 seconds behind and has to defend from Bass. It goes to the outside but goes on the grass, so that's not going to help him. That's going to leave Sebastian with a bit of gap and able to get his head down as Carlos. No, that is not Carlos. That is Mario, I believe. It's a bit of a look up the inside, but thinks a bit of it. See Sebastian as developing a bit of gap between all of the drivers. Is settling down just a little bit, although everybody's still really close. Sebastian has managed to catch up very nicely. He's now just half a second behind.
Yeah, Kev's still got one. I'm stuck one up on the inside there of Andy, sorry. And that's gained him position, so he wants to try to catch up to where his teammate is, which is currently running P3 at the moment. Sebastian battling his way back up to the field. In fact, we'll go to that battle because it looks like Sebastian is about to, well, he's got to defend against
and he's just made his way up into P3, so he's absolutely flying. He's showing why he was P2 in the last race. And with the pace that he had the last time around, I'm actually shocked that Kevin isn't going further up the grid.
Sebastian's at the fastest
15.5.
Fastest lap last time, but he's under big pressure. Under massive pressure. You can see up the road there as well, too. There's also maybe an overtake there. There's Bass getting past.
Yeah, he keeps having to defend, doesn't he? But it looks like his defending is actually paying off and hindering the guy behind him that then loses time, and then he's going to be getting into the battle because the grid is still so tightly bunched up. And then he gets just a little bit of breathing space, which is enough for him to...
Oh, what's that? He's dropped 2 places.
To Sebastian?
Yes.
He's slowing down.
He lifted. I don't think he got any damage, but he completely lifted and let him through there. Interesting. He wasn't run off.
Down somehow?
He didn't run off track. He must have. Maybe something from race control there, because... Yeah, you would not have lifted like that unless there was a specific reason. I mean, he was the fastest. He set the fastest lap, the last lap, as well. So it's not that he doesn't have pace.
It's also possible that he could be just being a bit patient, just waiting to see what happens in front of him.
To allow 2 through? That's quite interesting. Considering he's well, where is his team?
Some funny
his teammates behind him.
He's just playing with his toy.
Unless he can see something we can't see, like if the driver's in front of him, possibly he could just take each other out.
He could be allowing his teammate to catch up here, but then again, you would want to slow everybody down if you're in front. I don't know. Who knows? They won the last race together, so Carlos has gone around.
As much as those two are team. Oh yeah, there's Carlos around.
That was close.
There's a car in the background too that's gone around. I think that's Ollie.
That's unfortunate. He's had a nice race up until this point, leading most of it. Well, the 3 laps that we've already had, but that promotes pretty much everybody else in the race. 1 step up, so everybody gets 1 step closer to the leader. That's now going to be Tulo, however you pronounce that one, but everybody's still bunched up. It's much closer than in the previous race, just showing that these reverse grids do help a little bit with battling. Of course, it's something that's up for debate whether or not these reverse grids actually is safe and does more harm than it does good for the racing, but as we've seen this race, especially then that's actually a pretty good ways to spice up the race and allow everybody to get back in.
Yeah, I like them. I do, because, as you guys know, like, it does spice. I wish Real F1 would actually try to do something like that as well. Wouldn't that? It would just allow other drivers, I feel, that when the F1, of course, you got slower and faster cars, but I think it would just allow more good close wheel-to-wheel racing with drivers and necessarily don't get the chance to always be in the quickest car to qualify, but you can show that true pace if they are battling it out in race conditions. Oh, a bit twirly coming out of the corner there from, I think that was a 93 car. It is.
Yeah, that's Sebastian on the outside now. He's gonna try and get past the guy that he's just let through, so Leon in between his two fellow countrymen,
Yeah.
separating the two championship leaders. He's going to be under a lot of pressure, as we talked about in the first race. He's going to be stressed out. He has to defend as well as trying to attack at the same time as knowing that these two guys are,
He's in the same
they're just
livery.
faster than he is.
He's in the same livery, of course, just a different color. But look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's Thor, Bass, Ruben, Sebastian, Leon, and Kevin a little bit down the road as well, too. So look at that. That's a battle. And it's close. It's tight at the top end, the business end. There's Bassy. There's Thor. Thor might have just lost that one. But it's turned into a three-way party. It's 7 car 38 now in the lead. That's Bassy, Ruben, just look, and look at that. Obviously, you got Thor, Leon, and look at that. It might be a switcheroo in the background. Action-packed everywhere here.
I was going to say that Thor was a big loser out of that one.
Somebody's gone around.
Ending up in P3, so... was it a bit of a tap between the two? It doesn't seem like anything really happened. Leon is still facing the right way, and so is Kevin and Sebastian. But Kevin is going to go past Leon now. Is he going to be able to go for the switcheroo? Not quite. Would have loved to see that one, as he's now getting faced with yet another battle, but gets tucked in behind Kevin. I think, let's see. I don't think he's going to be able to go for a move on Leon this time around. The good Andy Tatman, but I was going to say that Thor was going to be the loser out of turn 1 and 2, as he was already down into P3, but somehow I think one of the guys must have had a bit of a moment, sideways moment perhaps, a bit of a touch between the two drivers of Bas and Ruben, but Thor is now in the lead again.
He's under pressure, but might not be the lead for too long if Ruben has anything to say about it, and it looks like Ruben has got something to say about it if he can make it stick. What about his teammate? That's Bass just a little bit further down that ramp. They want well, it's Thor. It's Thor's home track if he's driving underneath the Japanese flag. I think they want a bit of Thor sushi. Sorry, Thor. It's your home track, my friend, so you got all the screaming Japanese fans going wild for you. Let's see if you get yourself a nice podium here. Key to keep it glued to the track there. You might be losing, perhaps, second place podium here at the moment. He has. He's lost 3 as well. What happened there? I know he lost a bit of pace, but another one of those.
Why is Thor slowing down? Is it the same that we saw with Sebastian early on?
Yeah. What do you think, guys?
The weird slowdown? There must be a slowdown somewhere there.
Is that because of an off track or something?
Yeah, must be a weird detection point somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate for the Japanese driver. He was leading this race just a lap ago, and now he's down to P5. Let's show you at the moment the timing, guys, because we're about halfway through.
But it's not over yet, is it?
No, absolutely not.
Right on the tail of Kevin, and if he can stay with Kevin, I think that he's going to be having a pretty good shot at a podium position. Sebastian is more than likely going to be able to get a good position as Thor is battling with Andy. I think that is. Leon and Andy. Leon. Andy goes up the inside, and I was going to say there's still 2 person down, but Leon is now inviting Brian into the mix, but actually managed to get move around the outside. It's incredible defending from Leon. Didn't think that was going to be possible in those 2 guns. Oh, and Leon slides him. Lovely save by the Dutchman. And it's a 4-wheel spin out of the second. I was going to say Lesmo. That's not what it's called.
No.
What do you call it? Yeah, I always get it messed up, but lovely save nonetheless.
Yeah, it could be 21R, 31R, whatever it is. Yeah, it's not Lesmo's. That's Edmonza, my friend.
Yeah, Lesmo's Edmonza, I know.
It's all right.
What are they called?
I don't know all the corner names here, but I tell you what, Bassy. Look at this. Look at this 2 inter-war team battle. Ruben and Bass versus Sebastian and Kevin. The Dutch duo versus, I'm not sure the flag that those other guys are running after, because it's like 3 different flags there. But either way, it's team warfare. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're going to be careful. First rule of teams is do not take each other out. Second rule, take your opponent out if you want. Don't take each other out. Going for it. Sebastian is going for it. Let's go on board with Kevin and watch this action from his point of view.
He's going to take... is trying to take Bass out of P2, but doesn't actually manage to make it stick this time. It's interesting that there's a slowdown again. Must be something.
Yeah, it's a slowdown because they've also allowed Thor back through. So we'll get a clarification, hopefully. during the intermission, and before we go to the F3 cars, and we'll find out from our race director
One of the
out there,
drivers.
if we can.
Yeah, a bit of an interview with one of them. I think that could be interesting.
We don't do interviews, unfortunately, because we've got too much of that. But we will, as a quick intermission, maybe we'll have them actually quickly say something on air before the next race, of course. Get a bit of a clarification, because we're a little bit confused up here in the casting box as to what that is, because we've seen it too many times now, and it's not a driver mistake, because they don't go off track. They just have to lift. So we'll find out, of course, and if you guys do know... I know the chat's a little quiet at the moment, but if you do know in the YouTube world, please let us know up there, because, here we go. See, now Sebastian wants this one back. Bit of a lock-up. Thor's not going to want to give this one up. Remember, Thor was leading this race at some point, and he had that lift message, we believe, what it is. So now, he doesn't have to lift. He can fight his way through. Try to maintain Sebastian behind him. Oh, it's a bit wide there.
Just to correct myself a bit from earlier on, it's not the Lesmos, it's a Degnas, as Sebastian goes up the inside of Thor. He's trying to make it stick, and looks like he has, but takes the hairpin very tight. And that's not ideal for traction out of a corner where you need the speed to go down this, it is straight, even though it is curved, and he's going to try and look for the inside move into Spoon. He's going to make that stick, no backs out just in time. I think he could have made that work, actually, but... now he's definitely close enough for a move into 130R, and if it just doesn't get it done into that one, then it's into turn one yet again, and hopefully gonna be making it stick before they get into turn two. That Thor's showed that he's more than capable of defending out of into 130R. He's on the outside, and he's gonna make it stick. And it's a lovely move from the Dutch Sebastian van den Heuvel that's gonna be leading out of those two drivers into turn one, and out of turn two yet again, doesn't have to back out into the two Degnas. Now he's gonna get his head down and try and go for Kevin. That's yet again beating him in another race here at Suzuka. But see the gap between those two drivers, it's 2 seconds right now. That's a long time. There's not a lot of time left of this race. If it's a 15-minute race, how much time do you have left? Pickles, do you know that?
It shows you on the stream, so we got about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes left of this 15-minute session. And at the moment,
my stream doesn't have time. Sorry.
Kevy wants, that's fine. Kevy at the moment wants to get something done with Bass. We're on board of his nose cam. You can see right at the back of the gearbox. Where basically, I love the speed sensation, isn't it, when you're riding on the GoPro on the front wing of these cars. But now this is going to be getting down to the last couple of opportunities he possibly could do, because 14 minutes, this could very much be. I'm not seeing the white flag just yet, but can both Ruben and Bass and their team hold off the Flying Dutchman? It's going to be close. Oh, they've come together a little bit. Hopefully it was just one of those lag glitches.
Another incredible move for Kevin. He's showing why he's he won the first race and why he's up there in contention for yet another win. Actually trying to go for the triple, right? The pole and 2 wins around the outside into turn one. I didn't think that was going to be possible. But of course, if you make it stick, then getting out on top out of turn 2 is has been proven that it's actually quite doable. But let's see. Bass is gonna hopefully try and get a position back.
I think this has got to be. This has to be the last lap, right, guys? I can't see any other opportunity for it not to be the last lap. Because the time is ticked over. So, yes, it is. And the checkered flag's out, and Ruben has done it. Maintained the Dutch. Bassi just got that P3 position there. Sebastian, the other Dutch. So it's a team 1 and 3, and 2 and 4 between these gladiators for the feature race. Thor, unfortunately, ended up finishing down in P5. Andy, Leon, Brian, Mario, and Carlos. Not a very good day for the Spaniards, finishing in 9th and 10th. But hey, it's just one race, of course. Plenty more to go. And that is definitely the results from that feature race, my friend. That should come up in a second.
Just one thing to to point out: not only has Kevin gone from P8 into P2, but Ruben has gone from P10 up into P1, and because Oyvind isn't participating in this final race, then that means that Ruben has essentially done a last to first in the second race here at Suzuka. So even though he doesn't have the fastest time of the race on anything really close to the fastest time, that's a 14.6 from Kevin and a 15.2 from Ruben. He's just been consistent in both the overtaking and the pure race pace from from Ruben, yeah. And that's what you want to see. It's not about pace, is it? It's about the consistency. It's about keeping the car on track, making the right calls, making the right moves, making the right overtakes, and defending at the right times. And of course, Kevin was a bit held up by Bass, and of course the entire rest of the field, and had a bit of a battle with Sebastian as well. But yeah, what a race from Ruben, really astonishing.
Absolutely. What do you think about that one there, Brody? Towards the end, right? That nice little feature race.
Sorry, what was that?
What do you think about the feature race there, Brody? At the end,
I think it was a nice thing to watch, actually. Quite close. It's what everyone wants to see, though, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Close racing.
Absolutely, that's what we want to see. That's why we love the reverse grids and things like that. So, obviously, don't go anywhere. You're going to have more Brody and Niels with me in the casting box in a minute. We're going to try to find out, hunt down some of those marshals and some of those race directors and find out exactly what happened so we can give a bit of a clarification as to why we saw the lift there. But obviously, we do have the F3 coming up on the full track as well as Suzuka. So, yes, please stick around, guys. We'll be right back for the next series. So don't go anywhere. Get some popcorn. Get some hydration. Have some sake if you're old enough. Back in a minute. Well, welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to start the F3 series. The F4 is done and dusted. And what a great couple of races that was, too. The sprint race and the feature race. And that definitely spun things around, didn't it, guys? The Biggles, once again, joining me is Brody and Niels, guys. Yep, the switcheroo with the reverse grid really did spice things up, didn't it?
It did indeed. It did create a lot of good watches, actually.
You might have to speak up a little bit, Brody, because I had you cranked and then, yeah. Oh, there you go. A little bit. That's fine. Cool. Yep. Yeah. And Niels or Ole? Ole? Ole, ole, ole.
Ole. Ole, ole. Ole. You can call me Ole. It's fine.
I got the car,
just
the
to give a bit of an explain on the slowdown that we had. We saw a lot of drivers lifting through the second deck now. So going under the bridge where 130R actually is, the explanation for that one is that if you take too much curb on the inside, iRacing registers that as an off track, and because if it is not an off track on grass or gravel, you get a slowdown, which I believe was 0.9, and because the field is so bunched up, that means that you lose a lot of positions. So that's why we saw Was it Leon? No, I know Sebastian had it 2 times, and then it wasn't Leon. It was Thor. Yeah, Thor had it as well. So that's why we are seeing that one, and that's something to look out for these F3 guys as well. We don't have that many drivers in this race, unfortunately. I believe we have 6, so a bit of a smaller field, but it's going to be even more crucial now that you have the drag on what is now going to be the back straight, the straight from the hairpin up into Spoon, and then of course the main start-finish straight. So a lot of places where you're going to be losing a lot of time if you lose 0.9 on a slowdown.
Yeah, that's punishing. That's absolutely punishing. That penalty is I mean, the F1 game, if you guys, the game, of course, it's an arcade game. It's not a real simulator like this is. But if you realize the difference on how, like, the, off tracks in the Formula 1 game itself are, they give you a warning and then another warning and then a 3-second penalty. I'd have to say that penalty just going off there that you guys saw and then having to lift for about almost a second. That's pretty damn punishing. I mean, it's great. I like it because it's not time that's added to, to your delta at the end. So when you're trying to figure out all this mathematical equation of who's going to finish where and what because of all those penalties, it's issued immediately. So the drivers then have a chance to fight that one back there, and you don't have to sit there and crunch numbers at the end to go, who's going to win on penalties. It's great.
Exactly. It's way more harsh in that aspect because, of course, if you get an off track on grass where you don't get the slowdown, then you get a 1x incident point. And if you get, depending on the track session, it is usually 17. If you get 17, you get a drive-through. Back in the days, it was a drive-through with 40-second stop and go. So that was going to send you out of the race immediately. And then it's from 17 to 25, then you're out of the race. Where I believe in F1 you can get as many off tracks as you want. Of course, it's gonna bunch up with a lot of 5-second penalties. But these slowdowns as well, they can be harsh because of course it's something you need to serve immediately, just like you do in Gran Turismo Sport and Gran Turismo 7, I believe, is the new one. Where in Formula 1 you still get the drag from someone else in front, and you can still get the DRS, and you can still manage to get some of that time back. Whereas, it's way more punishing in iRacing, and I know, Bori, as a fellow driver, you know that in something like a 24-hour race, if you've done any of those, or just any endurance race in general, the max is usually only at 100, so that's quite difficult to get below 100 incident points in a 24-hour race, let alone 12.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly, Brody. Your opinion on it, and too, Brody, I'm not quite sure if you guys are a part of it or not, but you do know what's coming up, of course, while we're on this practice session, is the GT series. Now, you guys are aware. How can they sign up? Where can they sign up? How long do they have if you want to be a part of that series?
So I believe you can go onto the Anti-Store Racing website, and if I just have a look through the little tab that they've got, I believe there is. Yeah, so you can click on the Anstall Racing website. You can go down, hover over the Our League section at the top, drop down to the iRacing GT3 series section, and then if you scroll down, it'll give you all the information. So how the race every night's gonna work. So practice qualifying. There's gonna be a warm up and then a 1 hour race. It shows you the calendar. And the prize pool as well. And then
Yeah, that's right. There's a prize pool, of course, if you would have mentioned the money that's up for grabs there for the positions of who finishes first and so forth. And also, if you can check that calendar, just remind me about the calendar, because it's an exciting calendar as well. I believe it's in the Discord. It's in the notifications right up the top. So if you want to read that one out, and if you guys aren't a part of that Discord, what are you doing? You think we are slugging our way 16-hour plus flight for me to go to Japan? Do you think I'm doing this for fun? I am, actually.
We all do.
Yeah, it's only a 9-hour flight for you guys. What are you complaining about from Europe to Japan? It's a little bit further when you have to cross the Pacific Ocean, which is 1/3 of the Earth's surface. Just to remind you for your geography lesson here this evening.
I'm actually pretty sure you have a shorter flight than we do. Unless we go up north.
No, you have a shorter flight. You have a shorter flight from Europe. It's it's about 9-10 hours, actually, I think. Well, somebody can verify that one. Have you never flown to Japan before? You're here right now. Did you fall asleep on the plane?
Actually, it's funny that you ask.
If you did fall asleep on the plane, that's great. If you fell asleep the whole way and not even remember the flight, that's the best way you could have a flight, actually. Great scenic angles there. We have all the camera packs here at Anti-Stall Racing. That was a brilliant one because you got the nice Ferris wheel that's in the background, remember, that you have here in Japan. Old track, this one. Built as a Honda test track back in the day, and it's really is so twisty and whiny. It is a nightmare for drivers like me on keyboards. Trust me, it's just a nightmare because there's barely any straights. I'll show you the track map, but really,
I have a follow-up question to that statement. Is there any track that's fun on the keyboard?
Yes, Singapore. Because it's left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right for 23 times. It's not that hard. Azerbaijan, no. It's the Azerbaijan. The hardest part is that the hardest part on the keyboard is the short, curvy straights, like you have a lot here.
Oh yeah.
Because you got to tap like not crazy on the keyboard. Section. Otherwise, castle sections are quite easy to go through on the keyboard. Actually, believe it or not, I've never really binned it too much through there. In fact, I'm about equal on pace with most people. But those long, Jeddah would be a nightmare as well because it's the minute steering angles that you need to do. It's very difficult to do on a keyboard. Obviously, on a steering wheel, it's fun. You sit there, pedal to the metal, isn't it? As you go through Stowe Corner and stuff like that in Silverstone, or here in Japan, those corners, as you can see on the track map, the only straight part really is the start line finish area, and then probably out of Spoon it's almost straight there. The rest of it, my friend, is all just twirly, curly, whirly. At the moment, there, Theo is the man that set the fastest time. It's supposed to be a face cam. That's not working. I do have a face cam.
Another follow-up for you.
Oh, here's a new camera angle, my friends. Strap the GoPro to the back of the rear wing and have a look at this angle on the stream. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was about the flight time. It's 18 hours from Copenhagen to Tokyo.
Oh, what? 18? Oh, you have a connection. It's not 18 straight.
Well, probably so. The other one's at 16, so it's around there.
Oh, all right. Then we probably would. If we take off at the same time, we'd probably end up at the same time. There you go. That's talking about from me from Los Angeles, not from Panama. So I'd have to fly up to LA and then go across for another 14 hours or something to Japan. Actually, yeah, give or take, it's about 12 actually. It's 14 in Australia.
I think we'll have to try that out someday then.
You will have to fly back, my friend. Anti-Stall Racing is going to take you back, but the private jet, of course, is not as quick, not as fast as the regular airliner. Doesn't go as high as well. Wow, I'm loving this camera angle right now. I've never seen this before in my life. But if you can see it, look at the rear taking punishment as he goes out wide out of That's just put underneath the bridge, I think it is, actually, in the figure 8 loop. But yeah, I'm loving it. Never seen this camera angle before in my life, and I love iRacing because it gives you the ability to choose cameras and do whatever you want, actually. Well, we're underway for our fantastic practice session for the Formula 3 series. And we are seeing Theo at the moment, the Frenchman. Can you pronounce his surname out there, guys? How good are you in your Francais?
I believe. I know Zalfi, one of our members, he's French himself, and he said, yeah, I remember him actually telling me and Wes how to pronounce this, but I think normally I've just gone with Gilardini, just as it's spelled, but it could be completely different. I could have absolutely.
We can call him Theo from now on. I think it's gonna be easier.
G'day, Kevin, Panama.
When was the last time we pronounced the last name correctly?
Yeah, I never have. Well, I'll tell you
what. These international drivers.
Jorge Sanchez Rodriguez. I can pronounce him because I had the luxury of having Alex in the casting box with me yesterday for the Formula 1 series, and he's El Spaniel. He's a Spaniard. He has no problem pronouncing those names brilliantly. There's 2 Spaniards in here as well too, Mario Nicolosa and Carlos Fernandez as well. I should know this. I live in a Spanish-speaking country. I should be able to do this. Have a look at this camera angle out there, guys. Kev, have you ever felt like you're underneath the car? Are you checking it? This is underneath the nose cam, just looking at the front left rear. So the front left. And look at that. Look at the way that the suspension moves a little bit. Just moves a tiny bit. You can see the carbon fiber brakes as well too, spinning there. I'd actually see it heat up a little bit too as well, because those brakes get damn hot. And here's a little bit of trivia for you guys, actually. And I bet you didn't know this. As I'm just admiring. You don't get to see under the car very often, do you? It kind of feels like it's a little naughty to be looking underneath the car, but we're allowed to. We're allowed to. This is the beauty of it. Yeah.
There's usually something wrong if you get to see the underside of the car.
Yeah, they're spoiling all the surprises out there. The other teams are trying to stand in front of the car to block it. You can't block us. That's it for the qualifying. Well, that's it. Sorry for the practice session. I love that. That looks picturesque right there. Look at that chicane. Look at where the track marks are. You got to love iRacing. Qualifying is going to be underway. It's going to be lone qualifying once again, which means that they are alone on the track, but we can watch them all at once. Back to my trivia question, not really trivia. Fun facts, Biggles fun facts of the day. Sponsored by... Where's the sponsors? They're there. In Garage. Look at that. Right down on your left-hand corner. Anyway, the carbon... what is it? Is it carbon? Carbon fiber? Is it carbon fiber disc brakes? What's the material using?
Ceramic carbon fiber disc brakes.
What is it? Disc brakes? What is it they use? What's the material again? I can't really remember. That's what's going to screw up my facts.
I know they call it ceramic disc brake, but I'm not sure what the material is. Isn't it some kind of carbon fiber?
It's a carbon. It's a carbon. Yeah, it's a carbon kind of compound.
Carbon ceramic.
Now, that was invented by Concorde. Because they had to slow the Concordes down, obviously, because it's got a very fast landing.
Oh, yeah.
And they couldn't. The brakes would just, but the conventional material that they had, the brakes would just like explode. So they had to come up with some new compound solution that didn't burn the brake pads or the brake discs, whatever that they had, out, so they could slow it down and obviously be renewable, so you don't have to replace it every single damn time you're flying. That's where that technology came from.
Interesting, very interesting. I didn't know.
What's the trivia? That
was the facts. That was the facts. I'm not sure about the trivia. Look at the racing helmet we're seeing right now from Daniel Geronimo.
Interesting. I feel like I've heard the story before, but I actually didn't know it.
The what? Sorry.
I feel like I've heard the story that they had to change the brake disc. It's actually a bit awkward, I'd say. Because I've seen 2 Concords and I didn't know it. So,
well, I mean, because you wouldn't know it because of the fact that, you look at the brake discs, so you're not actually looking at that. I mean, the Concorde actually pioneered a lot of stuff as well, too, when it comes to to flying. And, you know, people have been trying now for years to try to get supersonic flights once again, you know, so you can go from London to New York in 3 hours and jazz like that. Problem is, of course, the fact that they're loud. The supersonic bomb boom and all that. That's the biggest problem that Concorde had over those years. That's why they could only fly into a couple of airports. Paris, New York, and London. Because the noise... And the what?
The price.
The price, yeah, the price. It was a business class kind of thing, which is essentially first class today. But you don't need lay down beds and all that because it's a 3-hour flight. It's nothing. But it was the noise, and that still is the problem today. That's why they're trying to find a way of keeping the noise down, because people like to complain about noise, of course, and why not? Because they were very noisy. Daniel doesn't like to complain about the noise at the moment because he's currently set the fastest lap, or looking to set the fastest lap in the qualifying session. I really want to see if I had the face cam, but it's not quite working for me. But we'll go on board with him. As he's pushing that car, the Rolex. Is he going to be rolling his way on time every time? Can he roll his way on time? The top sheet on top of the time sheets there, Mr. Rolex driver Daniel. I wonder if he actually has a Rolex. If he doesn't, if he wins this race, he might very much earn one.
If you get a Rolex,
Anti-Store Racing's going to pay for that.
Race.
Anti-Store Racing's going to pay for that, not me.
I'm no longer going to be a commentator. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, this is the full Suzuka. You see the Ferris wheel in the background. These are the final couple of corners. Going to be sweeping it to the right, sweeping it back to the left. It's almost like the bus stop chicane. But one more corner you add to it, and one more bit of traction to see whether or not this man can get himself on top of the timesheets on pole. And he beat it. Yes, he has. He's got a 152.55 on your Daniel dial. Pretty good for a Rolex, I'd have to say. On time, every time? Maybe. Who's next down the road? That's the Golf livery there of Oscar. He's going to cross the line right now. What's Oski going to do? Oski goes into P3. Not a very good lap there. Carlos goes down into P4. A 154s. Guys are about 2 seconds off the pace at the moment. But made a mistake, but still a bit of time in qualifying left. As we get to the 8-minute mark, we're in 5, so you probably get another lap in. Anybody to look out there for, guys? George? Rodriguez? Putting in some nice purples.
I think Theo's one to watch out for. I think he made a mistake on his first lap. He's always been quick, and I think he's just starting his second lap now.
Yeah, we'll go back to Theo. We'll go back to Theo in a second, of course, yeah. Because I want to see what Jorge Rodriguez can do here. Because he's got some purples. Purples up his sleeve are good, but he's got a bit of a orange in there. You don't want the orange, man. Rodriguez, come on, man. And Daniel looks like he might be even improving on his previous fastest pole position time, which is a 152s. The only man 152s. Let's see if Jorge can get himself into the 152s as well. I think he's a teammate. So are we seeing another teammate domination? Tucked up against the wall, of course, shortest across the line. He will stay P2, but he does join the 152 clubs. Now we'll go back to Theo, as you said. Let's go check out the old Easter. You love how I just give nicknames for all these drivers. That's what we can do.
We make our own rules. It's fine. But of course, Daniel being way in front of Jorge, I don't know, Rodriguez.
You're trying to pronounce that in Dutch.
In Dutch, no. But of course, Rodriguez still have 2 purple sectors, so that's the second and the third one. As Theo actually scrapped the third one out of Rodriguez's hands, and now he only got 1 purple sector. But does it mean that we're still going to see a lot of battle for the pole position between Daniel and Rodriguez? Rodriguez is only 3 tenths behind, so I think it's actually going to be doable unless Theo has something to say.
Yeah, Theo has something to say. Theo says, bang! Guess who's in town? The young Frenchman. Dominated that one by almost a second. 51.6. Domination. Only person left is Mario to try to do something about this party. You know what he needs? That bullet. That speeding bullet thing you have in Mario Kart, isn't it? When you collect that thing and you just zoom past everybody. That's what he needs.
Needs some blue shells as
Blue
well.
shells, yeah. He don't have the sound effect for that, but he's got a final couple of corners to navigate. Oh, I love this camera angle too. You feel like you're basically sitting next to him in the passenger seat of this Formula 3 machine up to 5th gear. Across the line, what will his time be? And Mario will unfortunately stay in that same position. So, well, what a lap there from Theo. Just pulled that one out of the bag there and sent everybody packing. Unbelievable way to get yourself on the grid.
Yeah, you don't have to set the fastest laps at the beginning of the session, do you? As long as you get them in at the end, it's fine.
Who would like the honors of reading
support.
through those grid results for us, Seth? There's only a handful of them.
Someone for me then. Then let's see, it's Theo in P1, then followed by Daniel. Not going to pronounce the last name, so I can't do that one. Then in our P3 and P4, it is going to be Rodriguez, followed by Imonen, and then it's Nicolas P5, and to round it up, it is Carlos Fernandez. Actually, relatively close, I'd say. Of course, Theo somehow pulling out a incredible lap time, a second faster than Daniel, but and pretty close between Rodriguez, 3/10 behind, and then Imonen 4/10 behind Rodriguez. Then again, 3/10 to Nicolas, and then 7/10 from Fernandez to Nicolas. So relatively close. It's down to race pace. I'm not sure it's going to be too close, but I think it's going to be close enough.
It's definitely heating up at the moment, mate. When you get the hot tub spam that goes into the YouTube chat, so hopefully Kevin can get rid of that, of course. But yeah, you guys are aware of that. Please never even follow any of that stuff. If you do follow that stuff, you're mad. You know it's called SPAM. Spam. Get rid of it. If you want hot tub streams, watch these drivers gridding up on the grid at the moment in the heat and the beautiful day here in Suzuka as we're going to get ready for some green flag racing. There we have. Thank you very much for the camera angle. Didn't quite work, but they're off. They're off at the moment. Theo leading from Daniel, from Mario. Jorge gaining another position, actually gaining his position back. Mario and Carlos and Oscar losing 2 positions off the grid so far at the moment for our first race here this evening.
Already a bit of gap once again developing between all the drivers. It's not the same as in the Formula 4 where we had everybody bunching up the entire tier first up. Of course, it's a bit of a smaller track gap. I feel sorry as Daniel goes off and Jorge goes past, and he's now up into P2. Still really close between those two drivers. Of course, now
getting close
Daniel's
to the
going to be under pressure once again from Mario. Is he going to be close enough? As we have Carlos and Oscar, they're going side to side into the hairpin. It's Oscar getting out on top as he's now getting a bit of traction out of the corner. It's one of those funny things, right? Of course, it's slow to go around the outside, but because you have this long straight.
Side by side, Daniel on that side. Jorge going off into the fence there. Outside of Rodriguez. Big time damage there. Trying to make a little bit of an attempt side by side through there. You know, sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case around, he did not. We'll get to replay that one back in a minute. Still racing entertainment there as Mario's going to put this one on Daniel. Yep. Absolutely.
You always want to go for these nice gaps in the first lap when everybody is close, and you can afford to do those bit of risky moves, but you'd never want to set a competitor into the wall, do you? So then this is spin and the final chicane, and that's going to be Carlos and Oscar coming together somehow. I didn't quite see it. I just saw the finish of that collision they had. But let's hope we're going to get a replay of that one. They're still going, as I can see. As we are still following Daniel and Mario going into turn 1 out of turn 2. They're pretty close still. It's Daniel still on top. Mario is looking for the gap. He's got an entire track for himself, just trying to get past Daniel. But it's not quite close enough. It's Daniel actually getting some nice traction. He's pulled quite a bit of a gap, hasn't he?
The massive gap. Apologies, we had Brody had to leave. Thank you very much, Brody, for being a part of the casting box here this evening. You got some things to do, obviously, with family and all that sort of jazz. We appreciate you stepping in and for the F4 cast and obviously for the start of the F3 cast. Looking forward to you back in the commentary box again, Brody. Take care, mate, and enjoy your Tuesday evening. Go back to the replay of that one with Jorge real quick and have a look at what happened here. We'll see if we can get a little bit of better of a camera.
So it's Daniel getting a nice lunge out of the hairpin. And then he's going to be going up on the inside, so they're actually side by side going in, and then just drifting out. I'd say that's a racing incident once again. Bit hard to judge from that camera angle, but didn't look like Daniel did anything particularly wrong to me. Of course, you're going to be carrying a lot of speed into that corner, but yeah, it's a wheel banging that just ends up being really unfortunate for Sanchez Rodriguez.
Just a slight tap is all it took, isn't it? Just a tiny tap, and obviously at the momentum and the speed of these cars, that's all it is. Look at this camera angle right now. Have a look at this man, Mario Nicholas. Looking pretty chilled and relaxed at the moment. He's not porpoising. He's got the sun shining right on his helmet as he navigates his way around Suzuka in cool, calm, collected. He's got a tear-off strip there. He can rip those tear-off strips anytime he wants. But another fantastic camera angle here, brought to you by Anti-Stall Racing. Hey, not even the real F1 have those camera angles, mate. This is why esports is so much better. You could do everything you want. You can change it around. Drivers can crash and not have to worry about hospital bills and medical insurance and all that jazz, but they can go flat, flat, flat. And we do know, we've spoken about this before, that there are a lot of drivers these days that are very good in the situation. It looks like Daniel and Mario have exchanged telephone numbers there somewhere. Did they? Or Oscar's gone off somewhere.
I think still Daniel being in front.
It's my timing board playing tricks with me.
I'm not sure what the timing is doing, just trying to keep us entertained while we see the gaps develop even further, and we see why the qualifying session turned out as it has. Actually, Mario, he's been gaining 3 positions, so it's actually nice to see him having a pretty good race pace and getting rid of Oscar. As much as he's getting rid of him, it's still, actually 7 seconds between those two. Mario, it's actually Daniel leading this race. Why? It's Tio. What happened to him? Was he the one that got... No, it was Sanchez that got taken out by Daniel, wasn't it? So
yeah.
I must have missed something.
I'm not reading anything in track control here.
Why is Theo 4 positions down?
Oh, he went off track. Oscari? Who are you talking about going off track? Somebody went off track.
Theo?
Theo did not, and I'm reading for the race control.
Pole position...
No, not that I'm seeing, but Theo's all the way down there, and you're right. Theo's all the way down there currently at the moment in pit lane. In fact, he might have had a DC. Ooh, I hope he didn't have a DC. Something has definitely happened there.
Can we get a replay of the incident that he had? Because I saw, of course, we had the incident between Rodriguez and Daniel at the beginning, going into Spoon, and then it must have been Carlos and Oscari, right, tangling in the chicane.
Yeah, let's have a look at that then.
I've not seen anything else.
We'll have a look at that.
Is that the replay of that one?
Yeah, let's have a look then.
Yeah.
This is what might have happened, as you were mentioning. I was just having a look at it. This is Oscar and Carlos. That's what this battle is earlier.
Yeah, so Oscar leading this one. Carlos going for the move up the inside.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Just tags the rear wheels off.
Last of the late breakers,
Oscar,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
A little too late on the braking there, and throws that witch's... What did he do that witch's hat? That poor witch's hat. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the witch's hat? Well, you got to get a little bit of... you might get a bit of... is it The Wizard of Oz, isn't it? Or a bit of Oz, or a bit of Wicked, actually. I have seen that musical, actually, on Broadway. Don't tell anybody, but I slept through some of it. Yeah. I slept through a live musical on row 3. on Broadway. I was tired.
I would struggle to keep myself awake for one of those as well.
Oh no, these are exciting, man. Broadway entertainment, man. That's just like, I mean, the band's about 10 feet away from you. I mean, you got to hear every little note. The band, obviously, in the pit underneath the stage.
Perhaps a long day of the work.
You talk to Geza about it. Talk to Gerald. He's actually at the moment probably doing a live performance there, controlling all the lights and audio and stuff like that. I'm sure
of course.
he's probably got this up on his phone or something in the background now while he's just slowly watching it. He wouldn't be able to hear it, of course, because he's going to be doing all his actual work. But he might have it up there. And I'm sure if he ever gets a second to chat, he probably would. But hey, mate, work first, of course.
Playing it on his little smartphone, keeping it next to him.
That's
we
true.
have a lovely transition between these two, changing from the chicane into that's a Scary again, I think. Actually, in this lovely golf livery, it is a Scary.
Let's go on board with Daniel for a second, mate. How does it feel to be in Daniel's car as he's navigating that Rolex around?
Yeah, just a bit of a glance back to Formula 1. I think Lewis mentioned it a little bit. You're just driving alone, there's nothing around you. Of course, he's going to know that he's in the lead because he has all the telemetry and such. He's got everything to his display, quite literally, on the head-up displays that he's been given by iRacing and all his third-party software. But he's just in the lead. He is 4 seconds, 4.3 in front of Mario. There's not really anything for him to look out for. He doesn't have to push himself 4 seconds. It's a nice gap. It's where you start to relax a bit and just go into autopilot mode and drive away. And we're having a 30-minute race. Sorry, not seconds. It's a long time to be alone in the lead. That's why these drivers would love to see a little bit of a bigger grid, such as the one that we had for F4, where you always get. There's always something to look out for. If you're not in a battle, you have people around you that's going to be potentially battling you in just a few corners. If you end up making a mistake, of course, if Daniel here goes off track, he's going to be losing maybe 10 seconds if it's bad. But a little mistake or a little slide out of the hairpin or something like that. It's not going to cost him too much. He can afford that one.
And check out the Jigsaw helmet on him right now on that scenic camera. Look at that. He's smiling as he's turning into the corner. It's Jigsaw 101. Do you want to play a game? I'm not sure if you want to play your game at the moment there, Daniel, because your game is a game winning this one. It looks like he's smiling in the helmet, doesn't he? I mean, it's fantastic camera angle.
Turning
to
out of
see that,
balance.
the Jigsaw. Look at he's smiling right now. Give us a wave! Give us a wave! No, of course he's not going to give us a wave, but let's have a look underneath his car at the moment and see how. That's nice and shiny, man. Not a lot of damage there. Looking good. Your underneaths are looking pretty good, Daniel. Your underneaths are looking pretty nice here this evening.
Lovely British racing green on his car.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Aston Martin livery as it is. But perhaps with that Jigsaw livery helmet, perhaps he did actually want to play a little bit of game with Rodriguez early on. I'm not sure what he's been saying on the driver's radios, but I'm not sure I wanted to hear that one.
Yeah, well, I think if Daniel plays with his jigsaw pieces at the moment, he's putting them all together, isn't he, here in Suzuka? That's for sure. You knew that pun was coming, didn't you? He's not missing any of those pieces from the jigsaw puzzle. He's easily 8 seconds and change up the road. Closest battle, I have to say. We're going to check out some of those liveries. We're going to do that. There it is. So you got a bit of an Oscar moment happening. The old
is Mario losing time? Oscar's gaining on him quite a lot.
Let's have a look at the time delta difference between these gladiators here this evening, so we can have a look at the last laps and the previous laps. He's big time.
Mario keeps missing the apexes. What's happening? Is he making a mistake? He's trying to get a bit of a battle just for his own pure entertainment.
Yeah, guys, the spam is still out there in the chat, so get rid of it. If you have mod powers, please. Just ignore it. But I tell you what, spam is always good. If you get spammed on your YouTube channels or your Twitch channels, that means you're actually getting noticed. Oh, different racing lines at the moment there, isn't it? From Oscar. This has got
alternative apexes.
Go on,
But perhaps he's actually feeling a bit of pressure from Oscari here. As he's
it's Oscar. I gave him a nickname. He said it was cool. Look at the different racing lines there. Mario going a little deeper. Is that going to allow Oscar to try to put the pressure down there? They don't have all the tools. They're equal cars. He's got no push to pass, of course. He's just got the bit of Oscar. Who's it? Yeah, Oscar with he's got a bit of golf livery, put it that way. That might give him a benefit.
No DRS either, really, right?
No, absolutely not, mate. This is real racing without all those goodies.
Just him and a machine.
Yep.
And the guy that he's trying to pass as he's getting a really nice exit out of the final chicane. He's going to be right up the gearbox of Mario down this main start-finish straight. It's not many cars between those two drivers as he goes up for the inside into turn one. Is he backing out? It looks like he's backing out. They're still side by side somehow. Mario, even though he keeps missing the apexes, he's actually making a pretty good defensive move still. Oh, it's a bit of a tap between the two drivers. Mario spins.
Mario spins.
Oh, that's unfortunate, but I'm actually amazed that as Mario spins once again that he's actually been able to keep Oscari behind for such a long time. He keeps missing the apexes, but it seems like it doesn't really matter. He's got the car stuck right in where he needs it to be until they unfortunately touch. But that's a different.
Do you know what I love about the livery there? It just reminded me. I didn't realize that. Good call there, Mario. Because believe it or not, the Ozjet used to be the sponsor of the Minardi team in Formula One. Now, the Minardi team, how I know that one, of course, is because the owner of the Minardi team was, he's actually retired from the session. Because, in fact, everybody's showing retired from the session. So hopefully there's just a little bit of a glitch between me. Because, as hopefully I catch up to that session in a moment. Because we still have 14 minutes of racing to go. Am I still here? I hope so. Yes. Back in it! There it is. It's gone to the replay because it doesn't know what is going on. We'll go back to the live entertainment, and it's all just messing around a little bit. I used to think this was only the Formula 1 game that used to do this. Are you still hearing me here? Might have lost connection to everything. Hello? Oh, you're here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just need to know if I'm still online.
That's a real question.
I just wanted to make sure I'm online because my internet could have cut out there for a second and I was like, oh, I'm talking to myself here. Something's all gone pearl-shaped at the moment, mate. Are you getting the same thing? Are you in the session? I closed...
No, I'm not in the session.
Oh, I closed...
It looks like the stream is still on.
Yeah, I closed the session I was sharing to you down because... just to see if that was causing a problem. I don't think it is. But this is the first time I've ever actually experienced this in iRacing. That's quite interesting. Once again, this is a Formula 1 game thing. I'll share it to you again, my friend, but I don't know what is going on. It's not allowing me to choose between drivers or anything, and yet they're still out on track.
Is it your internet? Or?
Oh, what, sorry, sir?
You experienced it before that
No, I've never experienced this.
Doing a 24-hour race, just disconnect because iRacing didn't really feel like hosting this session.
The 24-hour race that I did cast here for Any Store Racing was broadcasted. It was fine. I mean, the timing might have been a little bit messed up, but I didn't race.
Oh, no. In my 24-hour races, the official, I think, has it happened at Le Mans?
This has all gone pearl-shaped for me.
Happening at some of the official races.
I apologize out there, guys. I have no idea what to do. Because it's still showing replay. I've hit live. It doesn't matter. It's all messed up. I'm going to reload the overlay and see if that fixes anything, but I don't think it is. So it's definitely all pole-shaped at the moment because I don't know who's where and what. Oh, that's very unfortunate because we still have a bit of... I know it's showing replay, guys, but trust me, I'm hitting the live button and it ain't doing anything. This is why we need Gerald out there, but Gerald's currently casting a musical. This is not casting a musical, he's putting a musical production on at the moment, so he can't come and help us. We might very well have to end the stream here because I'm not sure what I can do.
Yeah, looks like we're still live on YouTube, but if we can't
connect
to anything,
then
but that doesn't really matter, does it?
I can't show you anything, that's the problem.
No.
It's
and I can't really.
Oh.
I can't host it neither for multiple
So
reasons.
anyway, yeah, apologies, massive apologies, of course. It's out of our control. It's not like we're sitting there not like dingoes trying to chew the cable there. Shoo, dingo, stop chewing that cable. No, it's just something that's happened. We're not quite sure why. But please, if you want to find out those results, of course, hit the button there, Anti-Stall Racing, the website. It's all there. We'll be there. We'll try to find out what happened at the end of the race, of course. It looks like Daniel was leading the race. Daniel should have won the race with the lead that he had from Oscar, Carlos, Mario, Theo, and George. There it is. Probably in around that last position. So that's it from me and Mr. Niels or Ole, mate.
Yes.
So
yes,
yeah,
thank you for this time.
I think we
It
have
was,
to end
it
the
was a
stream.
lovely race up until it stopped for us, unfortunately.
Yeah, it did. It did what it did, but at least it wasn't, necessarily at the start of the race. It could have been worse. But anyway, more racing to go. Make sure you get involved in that GT3 series that's starting up soon. We talked about that earlier. If you guys are still sticking around, please, thank you very much. Ignore those spam messages from the hot tub, whatever the hell that is. Like, yeah, really? Anybody going to believe that? That's it. Neil, bit of a lay down. Thank you very much. You got a 12, 14 hour, 18, how many hour flight do you have back from Japan to your part of the globe?
Yeah, I think it's still 16,
All right,
18,
16.
19.
So
Yeah,
make sure you
depending on
have the
the,
beef in the Anti-Stall
I will.
Racing. I recommend the beef. It was delicious last time. Thank you from Neil and myself and all the Anti-Stall Racing team. I apologize about